Welcome back. It is the Beyond Emissions podcast, brought to you by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas, pioneering solar distribution in the United States since 1979. Welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast. I'm Energy Storage Manager here at Soligent, also as well, Josh Brum, also as well, host of the Beyond Emissions podcast here at the Beyond Emissions podcast home, available at Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and right here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, and comment down below about how we can create a world. Be a part of the conversation about how we can create this world that is beyond emissions, an emissions-free future. What does that mean to you, right? I mean, think about it. What does it mean to you? It doesn't mean the elimination of all oil, of all fossil fuels, or byproducts of fossil fuels. I completely understand. We're still going to have that in existence. We still have a racist in this country. That's not a problem we've completely solved, but we are so much closer to the dream that Martin Luther King Jr. set out. To have a country free of racism, to judge on the content of someone's character, not the color of their skin. It was a dream. It didn't exist at the time that he laid out that vision. And we're so much further and closer to that vision today than we were when Martin Luther King Jr. Spoke those words that we remember throughout history. Same thing. A world that is beyond emissions has not happened yet. Matter of fact, we're very, very far away from completing that mission. And we may never actually totally complete that mission. But we're laying it out like Martin Luther King Jr. We're laying out that dream. We have a dream of a world that is beyond emissions. What do you want to do in your life, your career, your job to help us in this mission? Again, join us here at Soligent. Click on the link below, find out more, especially if you're a homeowner or an installer. You want to learn more about solar energy storage, the Sol Library, more coming on that, coming up soon, the Solar Library, one-stop shop for you to come and get all of your solar and storage knowledge right here at soligent.net. That's going to be very exciting, upcoming. I may not have been supposed to have been letting that out yet. Well, the cat's out of the bag, an opportunity to learn as well. The storage webinar series available at the Soligent YouTube channel. Opportunities to learn right here as well at the Beyond Emissions podcast with experts from around the world. And of course, we're always talking different people. I've had this gentleman, my brother from another mother, Daniel Moyer from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. Welcome back to the Beyond Emissions podcast.
Hello, Josh. Thank you for having me today. Great to be here.
Likewise. Daniel and I have been working together in the renewable energy industry for a few years now and collaborating on trainings. He's got an amazing training from Briggs and Stratton available at the Soligent YouTube channel. Go to our Soligent webinar storage series. Teaching people how to sell storage. We go into lots of different strategies, how you can find these solutions for your customers right here at soligent.net from Briggs and Stratton as well. Excited. Thanks so much for participating with us in our learning adventures. We're going down another path today, though, Daniel. I'm excited. You got to have faith, baby. Sorry, you do have to have faith if you want to have an opportunity or be willing to talk to folks of faith. If you want to have an opportunity of exploring the different advantages of the IRA Inflation Reduction Act that include benefits for nonprofits as it pertains to renewable energy, a whole host of different things we're going to discuss today that I feel will help you expand your business opportunities and the good that you're doing in this business. Not that we're not doing, great things already, right, Daniel? Just being in the solar and renewable energy storage business, we're doing great things for our planet and our fellow citizens around the world every single day in what we're doing, creating this world that is beyond emissions. But now, to matters of the heart, we get to go even deeper and do even better Isn't that amazing? Introduce yourself and your background in regards to what we're talking about today from a faith standpoint. Good to have you back on the program, Dan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Josh. And before I worked at Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, which is one of only two companies in the country that make both energy storage systems and generators, standby generators. They can either operate on natural gas or propane. And like you mentioned before, we dived into last time we talked a little bit about how sales in California have changed a little bit under the new net metering agreement. But looking forward to this new topic. One thing I'm keenly aware of is how Soligent has really played a role in growing our industry as we know it. Before working for Briggs and Stratton, I'd worked for Sunfrost, Larry Schuessler, who had created refrigerators, DC compressor refrigerators. We also made AC compressors, and Soligent was there. Soligent was there helping us sell these refrigerators to mainly off-grid people, which is where we all kind of got our start. And now it's been so exciting to see Soligent to kind of morph into this larger, and the whole industry, in fact, morph into this whole larger grid-tied, grid-interactive, solar plus storage kind of new future of what we have here. But excited to be here, Josh. Today I want to just mention the opportunity that we have with the direct cash payment. So everybody knows with the new IRA that there's now a 30% direct cash payment available, and that people who don't pay taxes, nonprofits, can now, who would otherwise maybe have had to lease a system and have somebody else take the 30% and pass it along, can now get a direct cash payment. So what we're here to talk about, and what I'm here to share my story is not only how the solar industry and such a great opportunity to learn from solar pioneers like you, Josh, and like Larry, and like a lot of the other old school pioneers of the solar industry, but share what I've been doing at my local church and the success that we've had, and maybe help people replicate that success at their house of worship, whether it be a mosque, a synagogue, or a church.
Daniel Moyer with us, a friend of mine, friend of the Brumster and FOB. Appreciate you so much, Daniel. Josh Brum here, Energy Storage Manager, also host here of the Beyond Emissions podcast. Daniel Moyer with us from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, nonprofits, direct cash payments for renewable energy and other types of projects, opportunities available for you in the business. If you're an installer, an electrical contractor, listen up. There is an outside of the box opportunity that's waiting for you to go help your local houses and families of faith in your town, in your neck of the woods. A big difference from the other incentives. This is a very interesting thing. Direct cash payment. Again, we're not your CPA. We're not here to give you legal advice. This is a generic education, if you will, from a higher level, but to dig down deeper, talk to your CPA to find out exactly how you can go about taking advantage of these opportunities. But from a broad perspective, talk a little bit about what is that gold lining, if you will, that's inside of the IRA, direct cash payments. That's really cool, really empowering houses of faith to go green, right?
Yeah, and they historically haven't really had that opportunity to do that before. And I'll tell a little story about my church, and we didn't have that opportunity, and we did have a lot of generosity in the parish to come up with the money that we didn't otherwise have the opportunity to use that. So it all started really at St. Albans Episcopal Church up here in Arcata, California, which is up in the Redwoods and North Coast. And it started around 2017. So about 5 years ago, we had done a survey in the church where we surveyed the congregants and asked them, what's important to you? Is it, is it ministry? Is it the Sunday school? Is it this or that? And one of the big things that came back was a word called creation care, or the care for the earth. And at the time I was on the vestry, which is the governing board of the church, and I saw an opportunity to start what we call a creation care committee. And really also what kicked it off is we had a bequest from Maureen Johansson, who is a late congregant of our church, who left some money, and she allowed us to put some solar up on the roof. We didn't use a Briggs and Stratton Energy Solution 6 kilowatt inverter, but we ended up using a Fronius inverter, and we put some SILFAB solar panels up there. We put 20 SILFABs, about a 7.4, I want to say, kilowatt array, which is about the most solar you can put on a 200 amp bus with a 200 amp service without overloading the 120% rule. So we slapped some solar up on the roof. What was really exciting about that is that our local solar contractor, his name's Roger, Solar Roger, and he's been in the industry a long time. He allowed us to volunteer some of our labor. So we had some guys and gals helping to carry panels up ladders, and while he was up there doing our SILFAB mounts, which I'm pretty sure you guys sell there, Josh. So we got solar up. Really excited. And one of the things I wish we would have been able to do is put solar on the side of the church where everybody gets to see it as you drive in or come into the church. Although our south-facing roof is on the opposite side, so no one ever sees it, but I know it's there. And the people paying the bills, the people paying the utility bills, the church secretary knows it's there. Why? Because our power bills went away. And by having your power bills go away, you now, in a way, have allowed or freed up money to help with the other ministries. So it was really exciting to see that installation go in, but we didn't stop there. As soon as we got that solar, we quickly realized that we were overproducing. And every year we'd get like a $400 or $500 refund check from Pacific Gas and Electric, our local utility, and they were excited. Wow, $500! But what I don't think they really realized was that was us getting paid out at our wholesale rate during our true-up. If we can actually utilize those kilowatt hours during the year on loads in the church, we're going to see a much bigger return, right? We're getting paid out at wholesale. So what did we do? We started to electrify the church. One, we focused on reducing our loads in the beginning. A lot of that happened through LED light retrofit. So we had our local people come in, Redwood Coast Energy Authority, and was able to come in and take a look at some of our lighting. We convert some of our old T12s or T8s, I believe, to LEDs and got them switched over. Further, there were a lot of Edison bulbs, and so we were able to take out a lot of those kind of light bulbs that you think of a light bulb and convert those over to LEDs. Got rid of our gas stove. We had a gas commercial range, and turns out that it was actually a leaky gas pipe under the church. So we were able to rip out the the gas stove and put in an electric range. We were able to further get rid of our old refrigerator, and a lot of this was paid through rebates from your local Redwood Coast Energy Authorities or your local energy authorities, your third parties. A few other things is we got rid of our gas water heater. We were initially going to go with the heat pump water heater, but we determined that, let's go ahead and just do an electric water heater. We're still seeing that return. We don't use a lot of water, hot water at the church, so we went with that. Additionally, we were able to start to work on heat pumps. We have 4 gas furnaces on the church, like a 100,000 BTU, a 70,000 BTU, like an 80,000 BTUs, and a lot of these were old 80%ers, which means that they're really old, inefficient gas furnaces. Recently, we've able to convert our library, our nursery, and our office all over to a heat pump system. So now what we're doing is, rather than burning a fossil fuel, we're now using energy to move heat from one place to the other and get ourselves off of that fossil fuel and start using up some of those credits on the church. Lots of other exciting stuff, Josh, and I don't want to give it all away right now, but it goes beyond just energy, and I'm really excited to help other people on this call learn about how they can leverage some of this money available through the new IRA, and then leverage some of the products that Soligent offers, and you're a great team of experts, engineers to help them design a system.
Creation Committee. Is that what it was that you started? It was called the Creation Committee? The Creation Care
Committee, and some of it also came out of what was called the Genesis Covenant, which was a lot of the national churches, which is, the entire country, the entire Episcopal Church of the United States, has really started to embrace this, and others as well. If you start to look at some of the national websites, that they're starting to support and embrace this idea of clean energy. What this does is allows us to not only be better citizens of the earth, but also allows the churches or houses of worship or mosques or synagogues or whatever it may be to now save money rather than spending it on utilities, and then use that money for other purposes of doing good in the community. So really excited. And we could further get into this about adding a Briggs and Stratton generator, air-cooled generator. We do have liquid-cooled generators as well, all the way up to 200K kilowatts. And battery storage available by, your great team there at Soligent, that we can further create houses of worship as refuge centers for our communities during disasters as well, by providing batteries or providing generators to keep the lights on, whether it be a cooling center or something after an earthquake. Go ahead.
You nailed it, man. You nailed it. Cooling centers during the summer, or places for people of refuge when it's freezing outside, to be able to go stay warm and fed. But in addition, just, refuge centers overall for clean energy, because really looking at how the Genesis covenant, like you said, God gave the command in the Bible that we were to subdue and rule over the earth or all of creation, not to rape and pillage it. Right? We were given a responsibility to manage this, not to just extract every last drop that we can till it's gone. Right? Am I correct there? That's where the Spirit is leading me, is that, matters of faith and matters of caring for our environment or creation are one and the same from that standpoint, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do recognize that, fossil fuels can be a segue, and I don't see us going completely off of them, but I do see us using, for example, you could take a generator, which burns propane or natural gas, run a generator at a good fuel-efficient load point, charge up a battery bank, like a simplified energy storage system, and then shut the generator off, right? So you're still utilizing a very energy dense, a very powerful fuel like propane or natural gas, to then charge up batteries and then shut the generator off, saving fuel, saving runtime. And Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, it's one person providing you both the generator and the energy storage battery system. So it's one tech support call, one warranty, one sales rep, one price list. And so it's all available, one price list to you guys there, and being able to have that all provided there. Additionally, again, I think recognizing that able to get these energy systems into churches frees up money that otherwise would have to go to be paying utilities. That money can then be used for other outreach, like homeless food shelters, like doing other activities around the community. So it's really exciting. Some other things that we did in the Genesis Covenant, just to remind you, it was produced by the National Church, and the covenant was that you go reduce your carbon footprint by 50% over the next 10 years. That was back in 2017. What we've done more on the diocesan level, which is kind of the Northern California region, that we've now moved, we've passed another resolution, which is that we're going to try to go carbon neutral, which is a little different than net zero, in the next 10 years. And part of that was having an energy audit done on the church. There was a company called Energy for Purpose, a gentleman by Colby May, came out to the church and walked around and looked at our installation, looked at the efficiency of our furnaces, looked at the windows, looked at a lot of different things, and helped us generate a report to help us see the future and what that can look like by going carbon neutral. And really what we're at, we were pretty far ahead of the game, and we started to serve as a model to other people, is we really just got to get our other 3 furnaces in the church over to heat pumps, and we'll be there. We're probably also going to have to add a little bit of solar on the roof, and I'm a little concerned, and we're going to have to think this through, that if you go and expand the size of your solar photovoltaic array in California, you want to be careful not to expand it or change it in such a way that we're going to lose our net energy metering 2.0, which is a more favorable interconnection agreement than the new NEM 3.0. We don't want to be bumped up. That being said, there is still a lot of opportunity for people under NEM 3.0. So if you are a house of worship in California and you're thinking, well, it's not worth it anymore, that's not true. You can still make it work with under NEM 3.0. And I know you have a lot of great packages or buckets, I think is that we talked about last time, to make sure people fit in the right bucket. A couple other things, Josh, I just really want to share is that it goes beyond just energy. I know that's what we're in, and that's what we sell, and that's what we do. But other things that really made it work at the house of worship can be xeriscaping, using native plants, saving water, get that water bill down. Another thing is that you might not realize that there's a lot of smart devices like smart thermostats or smart occupancy sensors and different other devices. And a lot of that requires a very robust internet network. And not just the internet from the router, but a good Wi-Fi. And what we did is we installed what's known as a mesh network. And I'm not the IT expert here, but having transmitters and receivers throughout the whole campus really allows you to kind of be ready to start using some of those smart load devices that I know you guys are at Soligent offer as well. Doing a bulletin board so people just are up to date and can simply walk by and see, okay, we saved that much money this month or that month, or maybe go check the tire pressure in your car and get a little bit better gas mileage. So it was really exciting to see, just not beyond just these energy, but other opportunities to move forward. So really excited, Josh, that you're excited about this topic, and I know that we're going to have a great opportunity here with this new IRA, 30% direct cash payment. Talk to your tax professional.
That is amazing. 30% direct cash payment. That is phenomenal. Very, very similar, if you will, to the new rules being put out for electrical vehicles, allowing for that upfront, tax credit to be applied on the transaction right there. That's very similar in a sense for houses of worship, nonprofits. The Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, has the ability, again, speak to your tax professionals about it, but has the ability to basically apply a 30%, that tax credit, if you will, that would normally apply, can be given as a cash payment to the nonprofit to pay for part of the project right up front. And the savings are happening immediately by making the property, the house of worship, more environmentally friendly, more efficient in all of its aspects, including insulation, including landscaping, and I mean everything, lighting. You mentioned lighting. We live in a world where doesn't everybody have LED? No, a lot of these old buildings still have not been transitioned. Something as simple as switching over your incandescent light bulbs or CFLs even to LED can be quite a difference. If you go from 50 watts to 10 watts, that's a reduction of fivefold. And when you look at how much you might be getting charged per kilowatt hour, especially in these houses of worship where lights may be on in rooms all the time, again, technology can turn off the lights in rooms and not be causing you to get charged for electricity. All these savings, efficiency, energy storage, resiliency, the ability in an outage to have a place for folks to go where the lights are on and people can receive emergency care. It's vital. It is vital. And that's the role that churches and houses of worship play in our towns, in our communities. If all of a sudden the NASDAQ and the Dow dropped to zero tomorrow and in complete negative territory, and we saw a Great Depression in this country, the houses of worship in all of our communities would suddenly become the most important places in town. And I think they already are the most important place in town. I think that's where we get our meaning in life is why are we here? What's our purpose? And the community amongst our believers. Love one another as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. No better place to do that than with a community of believers. And so it's phenomenal what you can do if you actually decide, my business plan as an installer, thus far has not included houses of worship. But now guess what? Not only are you doing good for the environment, for the community, doing good to others as you would have done to yourself, but in addition, there's a financial incentive that you're now able to bring to the table by being able to parlay this 30% the tax credit or direct cash payment, as you said, Daniel, towards the transaction. That's now money that your parish, that your church, your house of worship, mosque, synagogue, etc., now has the ability to take those savings and apply that towards other forms of ministry that you may want to be a part of in the community. The IRA Inflation Reduction Act, that direct cash payment, again, details, you got to go check with your CPA on details. But from a 30,000 foot view, that really opens up the doors for not only houses of worship, but for folks who have not maybe up to this point even thought of a house of worship as a potential prospect to go speak to in regards to earning their business and bringing the idea of, hey, what about maybe taking advantage of this IRA incentive, a direct cash payment? And, installers, are they really seeing these as opportunities to go present proposals to, or are houses of worship generally reaching out? In other words, we could flip the script and you installers could go talk to the houses of worship in your communities to bring this opportunity to them that they may not even be aware of. Am I crazy, or what does that sound like to you?
No, I think that's brilliant. And, there's so many powerful tools like Open Solar or Aurora or Energy Sage that can really help you develop really precise proposals. So when you do approach these houses of worship and let them know, a couple points is what I really found is when you start to do these sort of energy generation, energy storage, energy savings improvements on the houses of worship, what you quickly realize is that people in the church start asking about their own homes. It's so powerful that people realize what the savings mean, that the comfort means, and then they start asking you about projects on their home. So I think for an installer out there listening to this, it's not only an opportunity really to do work on the church and help improve that, but then also help people in the congregation, people that live close by, that live in that community, that are caring about this, then help them on their own homes. And of course, on their own homes, they're not a nonprofit and they can take some of that advantages. But anytime I do a presentation, of course, people pull me aside at the end of the talk and start asking me about solar, start asking me about heat pumps, EV chargers and all the like. One thing I wanted to bring us back to there, Josh, was, LED lights and a lot of the electric stove. And what I get a lot of is, I don't like cooking on electric. I don't like LED lights because they have a different color to them. And what I've really noticed is that with the recent kind of LED light technology, that you can get them in those warmer colors. We focus more on looms per watt, right? How much light is coming out per watt of electricity that's being consumed. And we focus on, not putting in we put in a commercial electric stove, right? And so there's no need to make sacrifices on some of these energy upgrades. A lot of people like having a big lawn out in front of the church, but once you show them what native landscaping can look like and how it can really increase the curb appeal, if you will, there's no reason to have sacrifices. And as far as the heat pump goes, whether it's warm air coming out of the ducts in the floor, you don't know necessarily whether it's being burnt from fossil fuel or from a heat pump. So it was really excited for us. We never had air conditioning. And when you put in one of these heat pumps, it has a reversing valve where it can actually function as a air conditioner. And living up here in the Pacific Northwest, up in the Redwoods in Arcata, California, home of Sunfrost that Soligent sold so long ago, home of a lot of other solar pioneers. There's no reason to have sacrifices, and if you start to look carefully at this, a lot of these improvements also generate a better environment as well in these houses of worship. So twofold. One, it creates opportunities outside the church for people going there that see the success. And two, there's no reason to make sacrifices in some of these upgrades.
What better word of mouth than from the pulpit, or from as an example, from the community of faith, as an example. It's there. It's right in front of everybody's face. So what better word of mouth for, this is doing great for our church. We just received a report, that we just offset, this many barrels of oil, that we did XYZ for the environment. Oh, and in addition, we freed up a lot of dollars that can go towards different ministries that our local house of worship may want those dollars to go to, instead of just being burnt up in the energy oven, if you will. And what better word of mouth than the folks who were congregants, members of those church families, of those houses of worship, and of those communities, to actually see that at their house of worship and go, I want that for my house. In other words, folks, not only are you doing good for the environment, you're doing good for your neighbor, for your community, for your faith and your planet, but you're also doing good from an economic, entrepreneurial standpoint, because now your business is thriving. You've done a good thing. You've helped this church take advantage of the direct cash payment from the IRA to help pay for all of their upgrades and renewable energy systems, including storage and solar. Again, available right here at Soligent. Great Briggs and Stratton opportunities for inverters, energy storage, and generators, all custom sized right here. Click on the link below to find out more here at Soligent. But it's a great economic opportunity as a business owner. This could be a really, big opportunity that most installers are missing out on. They're not thinking, I should go talk to the 10 churches that are up and down this avenue in my town. No, you should. You should. It's a great opportunity, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the environment, for the economy, and your business will scale because just the word of mouth alone. Oh, who did our church's solar and energy storage is Bob's Electric. Oh, really? I'm going to call Bob's Electric. Next thing you know, you've got 30 people calling you for their homes. Like, that is a really interesting aspect of this, isn't it? It's so
exciting.
It's not just great for people and the environment, but it's great for business too, right?
Yeah, and a lot of times we hold, like during the coffee hour, you can hold a presentation, and I've done this a lot, and you share the successes. Like I said, all of our solar panels are on the south side of the church, so nobody can see them driving into the parking lot, but you remind people and you show them the bills, you show them the reports, and they get really excited about that, and they start asking about their own homes as well. And also realizes that a lot of times these houses of worship have really tight budgets. And so by installing an energy storage with solar, what you're doing really is you're locking in your energy rate for the next 10, 20 years. So you have a fixed kind of budget that you know what you're working with, and you're not at the whims of price increases in utility and gas costs or electric costs. So it really helps you budget. So even if you're not able to afford other ministries, at least you're locked in and you have some financial stability for the church or the house or the synagogue or the mosque or whatever it may be. And we shouldn't also ignore schools as well, Josh, and other opportunities that really that kind of live in our communities that I really honestly think are being overlooked. And back to your other question is, I think you should be, as an installer, actively reaching out, and don't wait for them to reach out to your competitor.
Yeah. Be proactive. Go into your, I was going to say, gosh, I'm getting older, Dan. Dan Moyer with us from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. here at the Beyond Emissions podcast, brought to you by Soligent. Dan, I was going to date myself. I was going to say, yeah, go through the yellow pages and find everybody that's a solar installer, or excuse me, flip that. If you're a solar installer, go through the yellow pages and find everybody that's a house of worship and make that your call list. No yellow pages, just Google it. Sorry about that. The time machine, man. Everyone's like, what the heck is a yellow page? So Dan, at the end of the day, we can support people with this, right? They're not alone as they contact their houses of worship and nonprofits in their town and their community to go talk about taking advantage of this direct cash payment for renewable energy and efficiency systems, et cetera, for their property and all the upgrades that are entailed in that. And if our installer companies out there that are listening want to create a kind of a hit list, if you will, of who to go talk to that can take advantage of this, they're not alone, right? We're there to help them. We're there to support them. Figuring out it's energy in versus energy out. That support is available from Soligent and partners like you here at Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh, I just want to thank you for being such a great resource. These webinars and these Beyond Emissions podcasts that you host really help people learn how to navigate this kind of energy revolution. And if you think about battery energy storage is a relatively new concept, and even I would say grid-tied solar is a relatively new idea, right? That the first Tesla Powerwall didn't come online until mid 2015, and grid-tied solar net metering 1.0 in the 90s in California. So it's still a kind of a wild west of energy storage, and Soligent has been there from the beginning, and you guys have a great team of experts to help size and ship and get people their systems, their parts and pieces very quickly. I always had a great, all I have to do is log on to my soligent.net website, type in a couple part numbers, and I usually have a saved cart list. So if I kind of have a system or a design that I know works, all I have to do is hit that saved cart, maybe adjust a couple of mounts or a couple rails or a couple modules, and go ahead and hit ship. And I have the stuff showing up at my dock a couple days later. It's really, truly amazing the level of service Soligent provides. Thank you. Additionally, on the Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions side, that we can help the design the systems. We have sales application engineers and lots of training on our side as well that we can offer to help support those purchases from Soligent.net. So Josh, thank you for hosting me today, and I'm really excited that people go out and reach out to their nonprofits in their communities and really help leverage some of this direct cash payment opportunities and really start to move forward the new energy solution revolution.
Gotta have faith. We're talking about houses of faith today, houses of worship in your communities, nonprofits. We have faith in you, folks, that you're going to help us create this world that is beyond emissions. So go speak with your houses of worship, members of faith in your community. Talk to them about how they can take advantage of the IRA Inflation Reduction Act's benefits that include, as an example, direct cash payment. I think you said 30%. Again, speak to your CPA about the details and qualifications for that. But that can be a great advantage for houses of worship and faith to go green and save money for their organization, for their nonprofit, for their community of faith, which can, again, free up money for other ministries, etc., and give them a locked-in amount that they have there on their budget. In addition, you as a business owner and an installer can be doing really good for the environment, for the faith community in your area. But in addition as well, it's just a great business opportunity. Being able to go and offer this benefit to a house of worship or nonprofit or a community of faith, a big winner for them, a big winner for all of us, for the environment, but for your business as well. And the word of mouth that comes from that, from everybody involved in that house of worship or that nonprofit or that community of faith, will translate to more leads and more referrals and more customers for on the residential side and for their businesses, etc. It really is a great opportunity that I believe is completely untapped. And I'm so thankful that our resident expert here, my brother from another mother in the battery business, Daniel Moyer from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. Quick question for you, Daniel. 480 volt AC 3-phase, 208 volt AC 3-phase. Some of these large facilities that are houses of worship and communities of faith, oftentimes they're not just the traditional 120, 240 split phase systems on the AC side. That's alternating current, folks, for those of you from Rio Linda. So you're looking at AC power that might be 3-phase, not the traditional residential split phase, right? And so that may require maybe a different type of inverter solution and potentially a high voltage DC battery system customized and properly sized through Soligent from Briggs and Stratton as an example, right? Talk a little bit about that variation, if you will.
Well, you're exactly right. And in our house, we have a 200 house of worship. We have a 200 amp service, and we're actually upgrading it to a dual 200 amp service to help support some new electric car charging and the like. But you're absolutely right. One solution that I would recommend is Solar. Solar 30K and the Solar 60K paired with our safe lithium ferrophosphate, lithium iron phosphate, cylindrical cell lithium ion simplified batteries. We have, unlike our 48 volt nominal Amplify Phi and simplified batteries, we have a high voltage line. And as you kind of alluded to there a little bit, Josh, is that some of these larger Solar 30K and 60K need up over 100, I think 150 volts DC on the battery side. What we do is take our same proven batteries that we've been making.
You nailed it. By the way, you nailed it. Yes, it's minimum there, but your minimum output or your max output would just be matched with that. So in all reality, the 30K requires 300 volts DC or higher. The 60K for full output requires 600 volts DC or higher. So forgive me, I just wanted to throw that out there. Please continue.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just to let you know that we can wire these high voltage batteries in series, and we can wire them up in series to make the voltage that you need. We have server rack solutions. If it's a really large campus, it might even be a 20-foot or a 40-foot container. We can put about 1 megawatt hour per 40-foot container. So we have everything that scales up from the smallest kind of off-grid home that's Soligent and may have had that old Sunfrost refrigerator in it to larger ahead of, not only behind the meter, but in front of the meter kind of solutions. So when you're looking at these battery solutions, we talked a little bit about saving money, but also providing resilience, providing grid power resilience in houses of worship is really key. And a lot of people seek houses of worship during times of crisis and disasters as a refuge. And by having energy storage that provides that, I will say right now that adding a generator does not qualify for the 30% direct cash payment, but that may be an opportunity to install a Briggs and Stratton generator, both propane or natural gas standby generator, and that also provides that ability to have resilience, which can be priceless in a time of disaster to move forward. So,
just imagine. We all see the news, what's happening in the Middle East and Israel, and the carnage there, and our prayers are with those lost and their families and their loved ones. And we can't imagine that here, right? But just imagine that just, I don't know, a big natural disaster, a hurricane. I mean, we've experienced flooding, crazy weather from climate change. Lots of different variables can happen, natural disasters, war. Pray to God it never happens here on our shores, but if it happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if? And if all those what ifs happen, where are we going to turn? Where are we going to turn first? Well, generally speaking, we get on our knees really, really fast and start talking to God really, really fast when we need him most, when there is a disaster. And what we need most in those in those disaster situations is to have the love and the support of a community of faith, our church. Right?
Yeah, thank you, Josh. Again, no, absolutely. And just to sum it up, again, there's a 30% direct cash payment available to nonprofits. There's a great opportunity to approach your houses of worship in your neighborhood and get them the clean, resilient kind of power that they're looking for. And additionally, when you do this, the people that go to this house of worship start asking about their own home. And it's going to really lead to more business ahead of time for those installers out there. And when these people start to look at energy, they tend to start looking, in my experience, at other opportunities such as landscaping, such as further outreach, and it really kind of snowballs and creates this kind of opportunity for referrals and really puts your name out there. And before you know it, you're able to kind of generate those leads and then really start to increase the opportunities in the whole neighborhood. Josh Brum, thank you for all you do. Thank you, Soligent, for hosting this webinar. And I look forward to having you on the next time, Josh. And yeah.
Thank you. Daniel Moyer, Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions. Folks, you can get Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions available, energy storage solutions available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below. Daniel Moyer, thank you very much for joining us today, for enlightening us, if you will, on these opportunities for houses of worship and communities of faith, and how we can help our environment. We can help these houses of worship access incentives that can free up money for other ministries and other needs within the community and do good things. In addition, it's great for our installers' businesses. It's a great business opportunity, and it's great for us overall, helping one another and loving one another as we would love ourselves, which is the Great Commission, to love your neighbor as yourself. So be a part of this mission, helping houses of worship to access clean energy and efficient energy, utilizing solar energy storage, upgrading different aspects of current energy usage to more efficient energy production and consumption, loads, heat exchangers, heat pumps, landscaping, changing out lights, insulation. It goes
electrification. Really, it's the electrification of everything. And you had mentioned Martin Luther King at the beginning of this conversation, Josh, and he was a reverend, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King, and so I was really excited that you mentioned his name, and I'm really excited for the future of our grid, distributed assets, energy storage, all available through Soligent and your great team to help us finance it, as well as ship it to us quickly and get it to us undamaged. Your shipping department, I don't think, gets enough kudos for the quickness that materials show up at my freight loading dock, and how I can quickly get out there and install it. And if I got any problems, any questions, you're only one phone call away from us, Josh.
You hear that, Soligent team? Yeah, you deserve that credit. Great job. Way to support our customers. We could not make the difference in our world if we did not have the support team that we have here at Soligent. We love our team, and we love our vendor partners like you. Daniel Moyer from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, available here at Soligent. Tell our listeners, how can they contact you, Daniel, at Briggs and Stratton if they would like to explore helping houses of faith and houses and community of worship with renewable energy and storage and solar opportunities to take advantage of these great incentives that are in our IRA?
If you'd like to get a hold of me directly, it's training@simplifypower.com, training@simplifypower.com. If you have any questions on, I need a sales application engineer, happy to help refer you to one. Also check out simplifypower.com and briggsandstratton.com as well for further information. We've recently improved our Power Academy, so if you're looking to learn more and figure out more stuff, and not only for energy storage, but also on our generator side, check out briggsandstratton.com, and I'm training at simplifypower.com.
Gotta have faith, baby. Great job, Daniel. Awesome. I love it.
Thank you, Josh.
And we got the faith, don't we? Praise Jesus. Okay, hang on the line for our engineers. Daniel, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Hang on. Awesome. Houses of worship, communities of faith. You can take advantage of the 30% direct cash payment for renewable energy, solar storage, and installers. It's a great opportunity for you to do good for the environment, to do good for your community of faith. In addition to empowering your community of faith and doing great for the environment, it's also great for your business, lead generation. What better word of mouth than the word of the Lord, right? And through his flock. So a great opportunity as well for you to focus on helping communities of faith to expand their capabilities of helping the community and saving lives and souls. And the way to do that is to participate with them, to contact them, to put them on your call list, to reach out to them, no longer thinking, oh, I can't help them. They're a church nonprofit. No, you can. And it's good for the environment, them, your community, and your business. Got to have faith. That is our focus today at the Beyond Emissions podcast. Beyond emissions, beyond what we normally think of when it comes to this business. You got to think outside of the box. You've got to think beyond where your current thought is so you can get to a better place. Once you know better, you do better. So let's do better together right here, creating this world that is beyond emissions. Again, thank you so much, Daniel Moyer from Briggs and Stratton Energy Solutions, bringing us this great focus today on the Beyond Emissions podcast, available at Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and at the Soligent YouTube channel. I'm Josh Brum, Energy Storage Manager here at Soligent, host as well of the Beyond Emissions podcast, brought to you by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more.